Something extraordinary happened in 1980 that most collectors completely overlooked. It was the year the U.S. Mint quietly introduced a small but monumental change, a detail so minor that millions of Americans never noticed it. Yet today it separates ordinary coins from true collector treasures. And yes, the 1980 Washington quarter could be one of those overlooked gems hiding in your change. Imagine this, but digging through an old coffee can of quarters, saving up for laundry or parking, and suddenly one coin catches the light differently. The date reads 1980, and just below Washington's neck, you see something that earlier quarters don't have, a tiny P mint mark. That's right, 1980 was the first year Philadelphia added its mint mark to the quarter, and that single letter transformed numismatic history. Basic specifications. Let's look at the fundamentals. The 1980 quarter features John Flanagan classic portrait of George Washington on the obverse, strong, dignified, timeless. On the reverse, the proud eagle clutches arrows and olive branches beneath the word United States of America. Each coin weighs 5.67 grams, has a 24.3 millimeters diameter, and is composed of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. A copper-nickel-clad coin, just like modern quarters. But what makes the 1980 issue truly stand out is what hides in plain sight: condition, errors, and small details that most people ignore. The value shock. While most 1980 quarters are still only worth 25 cents, some have sold for over $2,000 at major auctions. How is that possible? It comes down to three words: mint, condition, and errors. The 1980 P quarters were produced in massive numbers, more than 635 million at Philadelphia alone. Denver produced about 518 million with the D mint mark. Enormous numbers. But among those billions of strikes, only a few were perfect, crisp, fully struck, and flawless. The highest graded examples, MS-67 and MS-68, are exceptionally rare. In fact, in 1980, D quarter graded MS-68 by PCGS sold for $1,560, and in 1980, P and MS-67 has reached over $1,200 at auction. That's thousands of dollars for a coin you might still find in circulation. A transitional year. The 1980 quarter isn't valuable only for its mint mark history. It also represents a transition in minting technology. The U.S. Mint was modernizing its equipment, shifting toward greater die pressure and automated feeding systems. These changes reduced, but didn't eliminate, the chances of minting errors. As a result, 1980 produced some of the most interesting error coins of the modern era. Collectors have documented off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, and double dies that give these quarters unique value. Famous errors and varieties. Let's talk about some of the notable ones. Double die obverse, DDO, doubling seen on the date or in God we trust. Light doubling can bring $50 to $150. Strong, well-centered doubling can command $400 to $700. Off-center strike, when the coin blank wasn't perfectly aligned. 5% off-center might fetch $40. 30 to 50% off-center with full date visible can sell for $250 to $500. Clip planchet, a small crescent missing from the edge caused by a misfed strip of metal. Values range from $100 to $250 depending on size and appeal. Broad strike error, the collar failed to contain the metal, resulting in a wider, flatter coin. These bring $50 to $150, sometimes more if dramatic. Die cracks or cuds, raised lines or blobs where the die began to break. Collectors pay anywhere from $30 to $200 depending on prominence. Each error has its own charm, a small accident frozen in time. And collectors love these because they show the human side of minting, the imperfection behind perfection. The Proof Edition 1980s. Now let's turn to San Francisco. The 1980 S-Proof quarter was struck specifically for collectors, not for circulation. Proof coins are made using polished dies and planchets, struck multiple times for that sharp detail and mirror-like finish. These came in both clad and silver proof sets. The silver proofs, 90% silver, were particularly stunning. A perfect PR 70 deep Cameo 1980 S silver proof can bring $250 to $400 at auction, depending on the market. Even the regular clad proof coins can fetch $30 to $50 when perfectly preserved. The artistry and mirror finish make them highly desirable additions to modern Washington quarter sets. Why condition is king? Let's talk about condition for a moment. Grading determines 90% of a coin's value. A 1980 quarter in MS60 might be worth $2. The same coin in MS67 could sell for $500. That's the power of preservation. Coins in circulation get scratched, rubbed, and dulled. The sharp edges flatten, the mint luster fades. But uncirculated coins, those that never entered pocket change, keep that original sheen, that mint-fresh brilliance collectors crave. If you're holding an old roll of 1980 quarters, it's worth inspecting. Look for full luster, minimal marks, and strong details. And if you think it's pristine, consider submitting it to a grading service. A $40 grading fee can turn a $5 coin into a $500 discovery. Modern market insight. In the past decade, the market for high-grade modern coins, especially 1970s and 1980s quarters, has quietly surged. Registry set competition has intensified as collectors aim to complete the best possible graded sets of Washington quarters. This has pushed auction prices upward for coins that once went unnoticed. Even small grade differences, MS66 to MS67 or PR69 to PR70, can mean hundreds of dollars difference in value. That's why the 1980 quarter, though common in circulation, is rare in top condition. And the demand for those top examples shows no signs of slowing down. A snapshot of the era. Let's take a step back in time. 1980, the year Mount St. Helens erupted, the Rubik's Cube craze began, and gasoline was just $1.25 a gallon. The U.S. Mint was transitioning into the computer age, experimenting with automated inspection systems. That makes the 1980 quarter more than a coin. It's a symbol of change, a reflection of America entering a new decade. When you hold it, you're holding the very first year Philadelphia proudly marked its coins. It's not just currency, it's history you can touch. Common misconceptions. A few myths still confuse new collectors. Myth 1. All 1980 quarters are silver. False. Regular circulation coins are copper nickel clad. Only proof sets from San Francisco contain silver versions. Myth 2. All quarters with a P mint mark are rare. Not true. The P was new in 1980, but billions were struck. Only condition or errors create real value. Myth 3. Cleaning makes a coin look better for sale. Big mistake. Cleaning removes the original surface, reducing value dramatically. Collectors want originality, not shine. The 1980 Washington quarter may seem like everyday pocket change, but it's not. It's a marker of minting evolution, a quiet milestone, and a treasure waiting to be recognized. From the introduction of the P, mint mark to the flawless Denver strikes, from double die errors to silver proofs, it captures a turning point in American coinage. So before you drop that 1980 quarter into a vending machine, take a closer look. The next rare find might already be in your hands. Because sometimes the smallest details, like a single letter beneath Washington's neck, can turn an ordinary coin into a numismatic legend. Check your change, hold on to the best ones, and remember, history often hides in plain sight.